they're sending somebody to his death, basically. Because if it's a real fight, Anthony Joshua could legitimately kill Jake Paul, because boxing is not a joke.
He's been training.
It's not a game. Boxing is not a game, bro. And if he does that, Jake Paul might die, bro. It's not even a joke.
I'm not laughing because he's gonna die, but it could be potentially a very bad fight for him.
And if that happens, I'm telling you, this guy's gonna have serious brain damage.
There are professional boxers who have fought in their weight and got brain damage and never been able to recover
That's
from
what I'm saying
it.
to you, bro. Professional boxers have died in the ring, and they want to
100%.
put a YouTuber against Anthony Joshua.
What do you guys make?
Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua just got the green light for December, and the announcement had the fight rolled like a thunderbolt.
Some breaking news here. Netflix have just confirmed it. Yes, it's real. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, a career-defining pro heavyweight fight. Live only on Netflix Friday, December 19th. Hashtag Jake Joshua. Jake Paul will be fighting Anthony Joshua on Netflix. I can't believe it. He's the A-side. You see he's on the poster first. I think that's disrespect. Honestly, not going to lie, I think the fight's a bit of a joke. I mean, Joshua's going to get him out of there minimum 3 rounds. So yeah. I just don't see any other outcome. But fight for more boxing news.
Fans had heard whispers for weeks, but nobody really expected the matchup to move from internet chatter to an actual sanctioned heavyweight bout. Yet here it was, locked in for December 19th in Miami, with Netflix gearing up to stream it live under the dramatic label of Judgment Day. The shock didn't just come from the date or the venue, it came from the absurdity of the matchup itself. One is a former unified heavyweight king and Olympic gold medalist, the other a YouTuber-turned boxer who only stepped into the sport 7 years ago. But in a strange twist that only modern boxing could produce, both men are stepping into the ring for a fight that counts on their real professional records and pays them tens of millions.
Disappointment in Anthony, him being a local boy to me, and obviously a big fan of his. Disappointment because it suggests he's sort of almost checking out of the serious game. Because yeah, Jake Paul isn't a serious fight for a top level fighter, certainly not a twice unified heavyweight champion of the world. So disappointed. Yeah, can't. Yeah. I'm still reeling from it, so it hasn't sunk in yet.
Joshua enters with a record of 28-4, a long list of major heavyweight victories and championships behind it, and a reputation as one of the sport's biggest punchers. Paul arrives with a 12-1 pro tally, a background rooted in social media fame, and a career spent mostly against older or retired fighters. But despite public disbelief, the deal came together quickly, especially after Paul's planned showdown with Gervonta Davis fell apart because of the civil case Davis became involved in. As soon as that fight dissolved, Joshua was contacted, and the timing aligned perfectly with what Joshua's team was already hoping for: a quick return to action after surgery on his elbow and more than a year out of the ring.
AJ versus Paul for £100 million in Miami in December. What are your thoughts?
Businessman of the decade, Jake Paul.
I rate AJ for doing it. He's 36. He's got no chance against the up-and-coming stars. Toma, Fabio Wardley. You'll know you'll lose to them. Why not fight someone easy for 50 mil, then fight someone that might knock you out for 5 or 7 mil? It's a no-brainer business-wise.
I don't know if I'm being dramatic, but I do feel like Jake Paul's life could be at risk here if AJ takes it as seriously as what he's done.
I totally agree, but Jake Paul, he wants to be big mouth and get in there, then it's up to him, isn't it?
Joshua had been preparing for a quad comeback fight, an 8-round tune-up that would have appeared suddenly during a Matchroom fight week in California or Ghana. The plan had been deliberately low-key, with whispers about him possibly weighing in unannounced and facing heavyweight Cassius Chaney. But when Paul's spot opened up, everything shifted. Instead of a warm-up bout with little attention, Joshua was now headlining one of the strangest, most talked-about matchups boxing has seen in years. It would also be his first fight in the United States since his 2019 loss to Andy Ruiz Jr., adding another emotional layer to an already surreal event.
I get it, right? If someone knocks on your door and says, do you want to fight Jake Paul for 100 million? You're like, you'd be stupid to say no. No, I don't want that 100 million for what would be and will be and should be easy work for AJ. Like, well, why are you going to turn down 100 million? AJ should and could, more should, knock out Jake Paul in a round. Like, if Jake Paul was over here fighting under our British Boxing Board of Control, I don't think it would be a Southern Area Cruiserweight champion. AJ is a former unified heavyweight champion of the world that I still believe is a top 10 heavyweight in the world. Just. Like, AJ should be able to destroy him. AJ is going to be 60 pounds or so bigger than him. AJ hits like a truck. AJ is a better boxer. Like, this is a no contest from the beginning.
The backlash and disbelief from the boxing world were immediate. Analysts, ex-champions, trainers, and fighters seemed to form an unplanned unanimous chorus. This matchup made no competitive sense. Tony Bellew couldn't hide how stunned he was by the idea that Joshua and Paul would be sharing a ring as professionals. From Bellew's perspective, the size difference alone made the fight feel almost ridiculous. Joshua is significantly taller, far heavier, far more experienced, and has spent years fighting world-class talent. That view reflected much of the early reaction from fighters who knew the sport at its highest level.
What happens when I think we both know, but for the sake of saying it specifically, if the two of them do collide in the ring,
Josh and Jake, yeah. I don't believe a single thing until I see him in the ring. I don't believe any. Even if they come together for a press, I don't believe it. I don't genuinely believe he will climb into a boxing ring with 10-ounce gloves on with Anthony Joshua. It won't happen. It can't.
Hypothetically, if it does, how long does it last?
As long as Josh wants it to. Simple as that. As long as he wants it to. The same way it did with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. The same way it did with Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou.
Tim Bradley had his own take, one that went deeper into mentality and intention. Bradley found it surprising that the fight was even in negotiations, let alone close to being finalized. He understood why Paul's side might want the fight. From their perspective, they could convince themselves Joshua might not have the strongest mindset, especially after the tough losses and a long recovery period. Still, Bradley believed that none of that should matter.
Oh yeah, Tim Deadstone Bradley, you already know the rest. Oh, did y'all see? Did y'all see what Mike Coppinger said? Oh, is it true? Is it real? Ooh, hey, I like this fight way better. Fake Jakey Paul and Dirty Love. They did it again. They got another guy in there that's a little bit of weak-minded. One that might even sell his soul a little bit for that money. Yeah, and go ahead and lay down for Jake Paul. Yeah, man, this is supposed to be an easy fight for a dude named Anthony Joshua. A dude that did 24 rounds with freaking Usyk. A guy that knocked out Ngannou, one of the baddest mans on the planet. Boy, this is supposed to be easy licking for him. Easy money. Shoot, if he go in there and be who he is, right? An experienced Olympic gold medalist, an experienced fighter that he is, bigger than Jake Paul, stronger than Jake Paul, got more skill than Jake Paul, he's supposed to serve Jake Paul. But if he don't go in there and serve Jake Paul, then you know what it is, guys. Yeah, our question's gonna be answered. Yeah, straight up scripted, straight up WWE. Yeah. Ain't nobody can say nothing different to me. Oh yeah, because Anthony Joshua, he's supposed to smash Jake Paul. Period. Smash him. Yeah, easy work. That's what it's supposed to be like. But if he go in there and he struggle, yeah, and he find himself on the campus looking for a mouthpiece or something, oh man, come on now. And you know Jake Paul, he signed that NDA, he signed his little rights away and was like, oh, I'll take a dive for $40 million, no problem. I'll take a dive, I don't care. All I care about is the money. All I care about is myself. I don't really care about the sport itself. I'm over the sport, yeah, and then we know, guys. But yeah, I'm definitely tuning in for this one. Oh yeah, I'll be watching closely. But anyways, yo, that's my time. I'm Tim Deadstone Bradley, and I'm out.
David Haye approached the topic from the danger side of things. He pointed out that it wasn't just about skill or experience, size alone changed everything. Joshua is a huge heavyweight with knockout power capable of damaging even the biggest fighters. He remembered how quickly Joshua stopped Ngannou and used that as a reference point for what could happen to Paul. In his eyes, Paul stepping in with someone of Joshua's physical strength could expose him to serious risk. Haye didn't frame it as a long beating, he suspected it would be fast, violent, and decisive. He couldn't identify any weapon or tactic Paul had shown in his previous fights that could trouble a large elite heavyweight.
I'm a massive fan of anything that brings eyeballs to boxing, anything that gets people who may not be interested in boxing to start watching boxing. I'm for that. I want to fan that flame. I think he's going to lose, but if he can you imagine if he somehow finds a way to win?
Is it legacy damaging for AJ?
No, it won't affect his legacy. If he goes out there and knocks Jake Paul out in one round, no one's going to think of it any worse of him than before.
Derek Chisora had warned in his own way that Paul could be leaving the arena strapped tightly into a medical stretcher if the fight unfolded as expected.
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. Do you think that's going to happen? And if it does, what happens?
Listen, as I keep saying to everybody, man, in the Middle East there's a war happening, yeah? In Europe there's a war happening. In Africa people are dying. So we need a bit of entertainment, and right now, this is a great fight for entertainment for us right now.
A one-round entertainment. Surely that doesn't go past one round.
We never know. You never know. But you know what? As I said yesterday, Jake Paul be so confident to get into this fight, because after you watch Daniel Dubois fight, you think you can do exactly what Daniel did. So listen, I'm up for this fight to happen, and I want to see AJ just put the lights out this young man.
100%, come on AJ.
Among the few unexpected voices supporting Paul, at least on the surface, was Tyson Fury. But Fury's comments didn't sound like genuine admiration, they sounded more like a way to poke at Joshua, which fit perfectly with their long, bitter rivalry. Fury had suggested that Paul might actually drop Joshua, a statement so extreme that fans instantly recognized it as more of a psychological jab at Joshua than a compliment toward Paul. Fury even doubled down, pushing the narrative that Joshua had passed his peak, while Paul was gaining momentum as a newer, rejuvenated heavyweight fighter. The tension between Fury and Joshua has been building for years, so seeing Fury insert himself into the storyline wasn't a shock, just another chapter in their ongoing war of words.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky.
Tommy Fury, however, wasn't as theatrical. As the only man who has actually defeated Paul in a real boxing match, Tommy approached the subject from experience. He had fought Paul in early 2023 and won by decision, and he didn't pretend that the bout had been particularly difficult. So when he heard Paul was being connected to Joshua, he couldn't hide his amusement. If he, as a national level contender, could neutralize Paul, then matching Paul with someone like Joshua felt pure fantasy to him. Tommy even thought commissions should think twice before sanctioning something with such an imbalance. He believed Paul talking boldly about beating Joshua was detached from reality, especially since Paul had already lost to him and Tommy himself didn't claim to be anywhere near Joshua's caliber.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me two-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on. Like, you can't be serious. You can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous. It really is.
Dana White also chimed in, even though he and Paul aren't in good terms. Their back and forth insults have become a long-standing tradition, but even White admitted he'd watch the fight, not because he thought it was a smart career move for Paul, but because he knew the public would rush to see if Joshua could finally deliver the kind of definitive shutdown moment many fans have been waiting for. White believed that curiosity alone would make the event massive. In his mind, Paul stepping in with someone as dangerous as Joshua was a disaster waiting to happen, but the train wreck potential was exactly why so many people would tune in.
Did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. I think everybody's going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
Amir Khan joined the conversation with an outlook that matched most of the boxing community. He believed the size and power gap between a proven heavyweight and an influencer turned fighter was so huge that the outcome should be extremely quick and brutal. Khan didn't think fans should approach the matchup as a normal boxing event. He said, "I think it's a great fight and I think Joshua sparks him out in 2 rounds." John Fury added his own fiery perspective too, warning Joshua not to do what he believed many of Paul's previous opponents had done. In Fury's opinion, several fighters who faced Paul didn't compete at full force, whether for financial reasons or promotional arrangements. He urged Joshua not to join those patterns under any circumstances and insisted that if the fight unfolded naturally, Joshua would knock Paul out with ease. Fury didn't soften his language and made it clear that if the outcome didn't line up with what people logically expected, then something behind the scenes would be suspicious.
You know, I wish Anthony all the best of luck. But Anthony, listen to me. Don't take a dive with this Jake Paul, mate. Do not do that, not for $1 billion, my pal. Don't do it. Don't do as the others have done. Do not take dives. If he fights you, knock him dead as a nit, and good luck with it.
Tyson says he's got to bet £1 million on Jake Paul knocking out Joshua.
This is what I'm saying. How's that work?
He can't, can he?
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick. So if it goes any other way, you know.
You give me a headline there, by the way.
If it goes any other way, you know it's fucking fixed, don't you? Enough said. Enough said.
As December 19th approaches, the narrative has taken a life on its own. Purists think the fight is madness, casual fans think it's entertainment. Promoters see a financial explosion, fighters are split between concern, disbelief, and annoyance. And in the center of it all stand Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, 2 men from completely different worlds somehow preparing to collide in a real, sanctioned heavyweight fight that nobody would have predicted even a year ago. If the build-up is any indication, Judgment Day isn't just a promotional tagline, it's the moment where the sport, the fans, and both fighters find out whether this unbelievable matchup becomes a historic upset, a quick and brutal reality check, or something else entirely. One thing is certain, whatever happens in Miami, the world will be watching.